You are all set, Melissa.
Thanks so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I know at SUNY, our focus is really on supporting individuals throughout many different facets of their life and places in their life, and ensuring that they get a high quality, low cost education through our publicly funded mission. And so at SUNY Empire State University, upward mobility, flexibility, innovation, and inclusion are really important factors in when we think about bringing new certificates or programs or developments to make sure that we're really supporting the community that we serve, and that community varies greatly. If you don't know, SUNY Empire State University is 97% online. We are a distributed campus model, so we are all over New York State, but we also have two international campuses that are actual campuses in Prague and in Greece. And so when we think about how we're supporting a typical learner at Empire, we don't really pinpoint a typical learner because we have students who are 15 years old. We had a 15-year-old graduate with an associate's, and we had somebody walk across the stage who were in their mid 80s last graduation. And so we want to make sure when we are bringing programs to life that we are thinking about the needs of every individual, because we know when we support the needs of a few, most can be supported through that, through a universal design for learning perspective. Now, that's not something many people hear about finances, but that's something that when we think about supporting individuals who need low cost or completely affordable programs, that's a benefit for every student who might be enrolled in there. And so when we were thinking about how to change this teacher assistant certificate program, we wanted to make sure that it was accessible. And so we did that with major help from the Empire librarians who supported our OER mission. And so we'll just get started right now, if it clicks, which it will. So there's a big challenge in higher education when it comes to affordability. At SUNY, we do a great job at providing that high quality education at a low cost, but there is a rising cost of college and higher education in the United States. It increases anxiety, it increases student debt burdens, it creates this barrier to our diverse populations. And it makes us think and be problem solvers. What can we do about it? Because we can tout the numbers, but until we start making actionable moves, like we all are in our passion for OERs, that we're not supporting the needs of the many. And so I started thinking about changing up the certificate program. A little background about myself: I am a former New York City public school special educator. So when I came to SUNY Empire, I was so excited because many of my paraprofessionals, also known as teacher assistants in other parts of New York State, went to Empire State University. They went to Empire State because it was flexible. It went along with their needs as adult learners. It also had different modes of study, but also because, and I'll show you in a later slide, UFT, who supports the New York City Department of Education paraprofessionals through their union, provides a monetary incentive to go to school up to 6 credits. And so they were coming to Empire State University. What we really didn't have, though, was a streamlined process toward this upward mobility. The paraprofessionals or teacher assistants would come to Empire and they would choose different majors, and it would be great because they would be able to gather an associate's degree, obtain their bachelor's degree or further. But while they were doing that, it wasn't necessarily layering into pay increases at their jobs, or it wasn't laying into necessarily the content that would help them be very successful at work, which we know then increases self-efficacy and increases retention within a very needed field of teacher assistants and paraprofessionals in the classroom setting. And so when I say teacher assistants and paraprofessionals, just to take a step back, those are support personnel who work directly with the lead teacher to either support the whole class or support a one-on-one student who has some type of distinguished need in which they need a one-to-one intervener to accomplish whatever they need throughout the day. So that might be a medical need, a behavioral need, a language need. They also have things like toileting paraprofessionals. And so these individuals come with a really broad range of knowledge. And so they come to us and they say, we want to go to school. This has been a dream of ours. So we wanted to develop a program that was really meaningful to them, but it wasn't necessarily easy. We had to review the state certification requirements. So that was number one. We had to have collaborations between faculty, instructional designers, the librarians, and other stakeholders to get their buy-in, as well as understand what the program really needed. We had to do full course revisions with the OER resources. We had to meet the Empire State University requirements, keeping in mind that most of our students are coming part-time, so ensuring that they would be able to successfully complete this certification in that way. And we needed university buy-in. And so these steps kind of led itself into thinking there's a lot going on here. But why would we go through all of these hoops when we already were retaining a lot of the paraprofessionals and teacher assistants? Because it was for their upward mobility. So this is a chart that was taken right off of New York State certification for teachers assistants. And you could see there is this step-by-step on how to move up the ladder, if you will, as a teacher assistant. So you go from little or no college into having many credits. And then further than this, if you are enrolled in a teacher certificate program, you could become a lead paraprofessional or a model paraprofessional, and your pay is largely increased. And so we know that we are able to support the upward mobility of individuals working in our educational settings by ensuring that we are taking the steps that they can receive more money for the work that they're doing and the things they're doing. So something that I'm sure we already know, that OERs are those free, openly licensed educational materials. They are used and adapted by educators and by people who have this focus on equity. It could be textbooks, readings, videos, quizzes, journal articles, and it increases the accessibility for students financially. It increases how they are able to obtain their information. It also kind of is an engaging tactic where a student isn't necessarily just looking at a textbook. They're able to take in a lot of different types of materials, which we know is great for engagement in a UDL realm. You're able to customize and keep your resources really up to date. You're not worried about that $80 textbook that maybe hasn't had a new edition recently. You're able to swap in and out, and things are updated more quickly. And our library and our librarians at Suny Empire are just so exceptional that they have a passion about ensuring that there's OER access for anybody who is designing or teaching courses. And so they work one-on-one with the faculty member. There's been many times where I'd say, "Ooh, I really love this journal, this article, but we don't have it in our library." And they'd say, "Let's see what we can do." And they were able to obtain permissions that our class was able to access it. And so those licensing really supported this initiative as well. So it's not just my program that's doing this. Suny Empire has been working toward affordability of the course resources. And as you can see, every semester we've been moving up. It's pretty amazing that we have 67.5% of affordable resources, and we're only trying to get it higher and higher and continue that so that students are able to access the content. And so you might say to yourself, well, how does a student actually know if it's an OER? We have made sure that there's an attribute in the term guide. So when a student is searching for a course, they can go in and they can see that this is no textbook cost or an OER. And they are intentionally choosing these courses a lot of times to ensure that they're able to maintain their enrollment within that semester. In addition to that, as I said before, the UFT provides a 6-credit voucher. that these students can utilize for undergraduate coursework. And so in that design of the certificate, we thought about what if a student's taking 3 credits? What if a student is taking 6 credits? What can we do to ensure that we are retaining students? We're letting them know that they can be successful, but also there's a distinct pathway to help them obtain their next certificate, keep on moving, and eventually roll into our early childhood education program, which is a new program that Empire has. And we are very happy to say that enrollment is going great in that because we are an at a distance early childhood education certification program, birth through 2. And so the courses were intentionally chosen that once they obtain this certification and receive their associates, they are able to apply for this program and be entered in. Once they do that, their pay increases substantially. So you might say to yourself, well, how do you get the word out? Well, it takes training. So not only do we want our faculty who are in the program to know, we also want our faculty who's not in the program to know that this is an option for students. Because many times paraprofessionals or teacher assistants might come in with a wonderful passion for students with disabilities or individuals with disabilities. And there's a lot of routes to go at Empire. We have individualized programs, we have structured programs. And so letting the students know that this is an option and they can opt into it if they choose is a really wonderful way for students to know that, one, we care about their successes, we care about them outside of our university, and that we've intentionally designed programs for their success. We also had to let Student Success know a lot about this so that they can let students know that these are options they have. So their voucher option is there. There are summer stipend options. There are other options through BOCES that they can have these scholarship initiatives to help support this. So not only are they intentionally working toward a certificate and degree completion through these steps, they're also able to do it in an affordable way, because the vouchers and sometimes the scholarships don't cover textbook course costs. They only cover the actual credit costs. And so that's those hidden fees that often result in students not retaining and not continuing with their educational degrees. And we have to have ongoing support resources. So within the courses that I designed, I embedded the library and the librarians for support with things like APA or citations, as well as finding journal resources. We have our tutoring resources directly embedded within our LMS, which is Brightspace, to ensure that students know that we're there for them. We also have things like our virtual food pantry. We have things like our basic needs coordinators, and we have a lot of other mental health resources, et cetera, that are embedded within this OER certificate program so that students know that we're there. I've heard that this increases a sense of belonging, that this intentionality behind how we're designing seems really meaningful to students, and that's something we really were looking for. When we think about how we're marketing their certificate program, as I said before, the certificate program is stackable. So it goes from a TA1 up into this model teacher assistant. And so there is a segue into our early childhood education program. And why is that meaningful? Because we're out of teachers. I have 4 young children, and I want to make sure that I am leaving the educational workforce, but in my path, my grand students, if you will, are going to be equipped because I am providing high quality educators in my place. And so I want to make sure that my children will have the best educators they can. And that's solely on the shoulders of what we're doing here. The last thing I want there to be is a barrier because of financial costs or not knowing or just worrisome about the other pieces of their holistic student experience. And so building out those supports really is supporting this next generation of humans who are coming up to change the world. So this certificate program is getting off the ground, but we have to measure the student performance and satisfaction. So we have a couple of ideas about how we're going to do that, and obtaining IRB consent so that we can publish the findings. We want to collect the data about cost savings and the accessibilities and improvements from there, from how our former students were looking for their courses versus how they are able to access their courses now. We want to have a continual reflective process on how to improve our programs, whether that is through retention data, which often looks at not only overall retention, but retention in subsets of students, which is extremely important, especially within the teacher assistant population, which many of those students do receive financial assistance, are English language learners, or first generation students, and adult learners. And so we want to make sure that we're really serving this population well. And we know when we serve that population well, we're serving all populations well. We want to make sure we're reviewing the completion and engagement. So within Brightspace, we have wonderful settings where we're able to see if you're accessing the course, if you are engaging in certain assignments, and if we see that there is a lower completion rate in certain modules or certain courses, those are up for immediate revision so that we know that students are able to succeed and continue this successful climb of this ladder, if you will, from a TA1 into throughout their teacher assistant levels. Excuse me. So I'm going to stop there because I feel as if this is an important piece within equity. I feel like this is an important piece within inclusion. I feel like thinking about the upward mobility of students and our essential piece within a public institution, that our education, I mean, I've heard that SUNY is the Ivy Leagues of public institutions. I'm going to take that. I believe that too. And so we are really put in the forefront of designing programs that are high quality, that are evidence-based, that are meaningful, that create a sense of belonging and community, and are really rooted in retention and upward mobility for our students. And so I just wanted to thank you all so much. I would love to hear from you all. Again, I'm the director of the Center of Teaching and Learning at SUNY Empire. I'm also a faculty member in the Educational Studies Department. And so I am really looking forward to any questions that you may have or any comments you might have. And I'm looking to support perhaps your work and answer any questions there. So go ahead. I'm an open book.
Melissa, can you put your contact information in the chat for us, please?
Definitely will. I can't see the chat. So should I stop sharing? I could stop sharing.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, one snag I didn't talk about that I really wanted to highlight is this was actually a second go at developing the certificate, which was interesting because I originally developed the certificate and then New York State changed the teacher assistant requirements. So it was pretty exciting for me to have to go back in and change it up a little bit. But once I saw the change in the requirements, which really produced this focused tunnel into teacher certification, ultimately, I was really excited about it because I want these students to feel that we are intentionally designing, but also that they are prepared through these pieces of where the certificate is scaffolding not only what you need to know as a teacher assistant or as a teacher, but I ensured to embed general education requirements as well, so that once they were done with the certificate, because they needed 18 credits, they were able to roll that into and have already completed some general education requirements, the requirements of their major and degree. And so they felt really set up for success there.
Feel free to come off mute and ask your questions or put them in the chat and I will read them off to Melissa so she can answer them.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Hi, I was wondering if you could address a little bit how you got the course markings done so that the students will have that show up that it's a zero cost course. We're trying to do that out where I am, and there's a complication I wouldn't have anticipated.
Yeah, so our registrar was able to directly put an attribute into our term guide. So it's not in our course catalog because we do many sections of the same course. So under the courses that are OER, because let's say Human Development 101, there might be a professor who teaches it who does not do it through OER. And then there might be one who does. So through that, there is a check through our bookstore and we get a direct link. All faculty members who teach whatever course it is, you have to set up your textbooks, and it's way before the semester. It's almost when the previous semester starts, and you have to go in and put in your textbooks. It's up to the faculty member to go in and say that it is an OER, and then it is a direct notification for the registrar to put that into the attributes. If it's an OER that an adjunct is teaching, it's up to our academic coordinators to already have that put in. And so the adjuncts don't have to go through that process.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the question.
Any other questions for Melissa?
Well, I want to thank you all so much. So I am very open to emails. We're on Teams, so Teams me up. I'm very happy to discuss anything we've done or that we're continuing to do through the center. Surrounding either the teacher assistant certification or how we're supporting other faculty, professionals, and staff in knowing about OERs, in learning about OERs, because we work really well with the librarians who are often doing professional development series through our office. They are very well received. We've had over 50 people come to these sessions, and our faculties, professionals, and staff are really excited about the concept of supporting diverse learners in all different forms. And one form is in different financial means. And so when we think about this, I really want us all to think about this in an equity point, right? And thinking about this and how we're serving all of our students. And so thank you all for being here. I know we all have this passion for OER, and that's really wonderful. And just thank you for the work you're doing as well.
Thank you, Melissa.